Hello and welcome everyone to round number 4 here at Zenith Online Racing for the Austrian Grand Prix and for the final race of week number 4 here at Zenith Online Racing. In the commentary booth tonight to take you through this one, it's going to be me, QVR Packer, and for the first time in my commentary, if you want to call it career, alongside me is going to be Daniel Hoggard. How's it going, Dan?
Thank you very much, Ethan, and hello, one and all. And yes, very excited to be making my debut here in Zenith Online Racing. Really looking forward to this race here tonight. As you mentioned, it is round number 4. This is going to be at the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix. Can't wait to get into this. And of course, the championship fight continue to evolve here at ZOR. Going to be ever most exciting to see how it continues to evolve. Round 4 underway tonight. Can't wait to get into it, Ethan.
Yeah, most definitely. We do have a championship battle that is starting to tighten up. Obviously, Lando did not score in round 1, and Miami was able to take that early advantage. But Lando making a resurgent comeback in Hungary and Azerbaijan. The championship battle only down to 14 points between the two main protagonists. I wish we had Larkin in a full-time seat because he would have been right up there as well. But Austria should be a major changing ground, or a major playing ground for any of these drivers to make a comeback in these early rounds of this season number 5.
Yes, certainly. Austria is a track that promotes a lot of very tight racing, no doubt about that. I expect some of the closest qualifying margins you will see all season around this track. The race should be no different as they find. Very easy to follow here because of the DRS, the 3 DRS zones around this track that play a massive role in the way that races are run. So the field should stay relatively compact all the way through. We're now loading into it though. Let's get into it. I'm sure you guys know how it runs by now. We're going to start off with an 18-minute short qualifying session, and this is a track that allows for 4 runs to take place because of its short length. It is just over a minute in length then. And so certainly navigating around here is quite easy to get around multiple laps, but also watch out for some of the traffic as well in qualifying because the cars are just more bunched up around here. And I think that makes for a qualifying session in Austria to be one of the most frantic on the entire season calendar.
Yeah, most definitely. We did see very, very close times, especially in Tier 2 on Thursday night. It's super close, dry qualifying session. Tier 1, there was rain, so it wasn't going to be as close as we would have expected. I think it was a gap of around half a tenth between the front row sitters, myself and Excel Lando. So Lando racing again here tonight, but we do have a new face, and it's going to be Toxic_MML. He is going to be reserved for this for the upcoming few races. Hopefully, he can find himself into a full-time seat, but he's going to be a driver that could play a major opportunity here, as well as Larkin, who's returning as in that reserve seat. But once again, let's see what Lando can do against the new phase of Toxic, and as well as Larkin. And then once again, the championship protagonists, Miami and Lando. That's going to be a great battle to see. I hope we have a dry qualifying session. We can get a real view on what these drivers' pace is going to be like here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, we're just going to get the answer right now as we look to get loaded into the first event of the evening. Going to be that short qualifying session. Interestingly enough, it is dry in the moment, but very, very overcast. They're quite foggy as well in the surroundings to the track. So we'll see if these conditions are going to hold out. I guess we'll get some answers soon enough because we're going to get maybe a bit more of a sense of urgency from the drivers. They're going to get themselves out of that pit lane. So now everyone nicely lined up, raring to go. Most of the field selected the soft early on, but a few drivers going for the mediums. That's how things are going to get kicked off around here. So now we charge out of the pit lane, get ready to get things underway then. 18 minutes of qualifying, and I suspect, as you mentioned, going to be one of the closest sections of the entire season. Let's get into it, Ethan.
Yeah, you can already see the Williams in the racing point of Rubb and Larkin getting very, very close on pit lane exit there. We normally see Larkin out on the medium tires early on into the midpoints of the session and ended up setting a very, very quick lap time later on in the qualifying sessions, but opting for the soft tires. Zamaglis has either left the session or just lagged out, so that's going to be unlucky for him. But let's get on board with the Williams driver of Rubb. We do have 2 drivers out on track right now on the mediums. That's going to be JXW and Harry Nawar. They're just going up and towards turn 3 right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do. I know the quick guys, they're going to be around the most likely the mid 2s.
Yeah, that tends to be the benchmark around this circuit. First off, we're going to see Rubb, though, navigating this Red Bull Ring. Then 10 turns around here, one of the shortest laps on the calendar. Let's see how he gets on then over the line to kick off the first lap of the session.
Yeah, most definitely. Just crossing the start-finish line there, having the DRS open, braking in turn one. You can use all the track on the left side, and then going down to 4th gear. A little bit of a slide, though, on the track. You can stay in 5th gear if you want to keep it absolutely stable through that first quarter, through this uphill left-hander of turn 2, and then braking into turn 3. Once again, you can use the little curve on the left side. 15.9 for the Williams driver. Let's see what he can do through the middle sector. A little bit of a slide there out of turn 3. It's a very, very difficult tracking zone, and arguably one of the most difficult here at the Red Bull Ring. Braking into turn 4, not using all the track that you possibly could, but once again, it is a bank lap. Going down to 3rd gear, short shifting to 4th gear, and through the right-hander of turn 5. Now down the hill towards turn 6, turning in. You're going to use the curve on the outside. You have to use all the track limits here if you want to have a quick lap time and to be competitive. Turning into turn 7, going to use all the, try and use all the track on the outside of 8. You can cut to the middle of the circuit to have the straightest line to the final 2 corners. Turning in at the 50-meter board, but it invalidates on the inside there of the penultimate corner. Let's get on board with Larkin through the final corner, going down to 5th gear, using the curve on the outside. It's very easy to validate there, but Larkin, 2.8 will kick off this session. That's a quick banker lap.
Yeah, very quick then from Larkin early on. We'll see what the rest of the field has in answer to that early lap then. With Hayden on the track, they've got Toast to give well. He's also invalidated though, decided to back off the last corner and will not get a valid lap time in to set that session off. Lando Hayden's also invalidated, so you can see in the constant effort to maximise the distance between the 2 white lines, he crosses would have been 7/1000 of a second quicker than Larkin, but wasn't to be then. Times coming in then, hard to work at GXW, but they're of course on the medium tire sport representative. We got Ashes there going on a 5.1 then, and Purple Squirrel also on a 5.1, so Larkin well clear at the moment then, early in the session. Expecting a lot of quick times to come in there, but Larkin getting that lap time in early. Callie goes into P2 at a 103.7, but Larkin comfortably P1 at the moment. Again making a splash in this championship in the Racing Point. He occupies that P1, but there's an awful lot of lap times to come in, and already a lot of quick drivers we've seen come off their lap times in Balding. A lot of potential still throughout the field. That lap time is certainly going to come under threat in these next 14 minutes.
Yeah, most definitely. Excel Miami going up to P4. Now P5 as Bag of Bones improves onto a 103.4. But Miami, the championship leader at P5 currently on those medium tires. So that could be a really a good starting position for him. Lando invalidates on the entry to the final corner. Let's see what the lap time would have been for the Ferrari driver trying to chase down Miami in the championship battle. It would have been 100th off of pole position. So the margins are already super close here in Austria. Let's see if he can put together a lap and make it a valid one. I think there's a Haas coming across the line. That might have been I think that was Purple Squirrel to do another lap. There's a Renault just coming into the pit lane. But I think Callie's going to be the next driver, but both Mercedes have backed off. I think Fuselim is just in behind them as well. He's going to be backing off. So you can already see these drivers doing their first runs. A few of them invalidating. Lando, one of the most notable drivers, going for that second run. But all of these drivers will be most definitely into the pit lane and going on to their second runs of most likely 4 runs here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, short lap, then you're going to see those opportunities. Rob was racing around again, but also invalidating. Coming out in the last corner, would have put himself up onto the front of the 3rd row of the grid, but ultimately wasn't to be behind. As RC7, he's going to get his first representative lap in, but it's down P10 at the moment, and 106 flat for the moment for the AlphaTauri driver. I think we are in that transitional phase in the qualifying session. As Moglis is out there then in the red building, either turn 9 and then downhill into turn 10 in 5th gear through the apex, punching out to the exit, over to get DRS for the 3rd time on the lap then, crosses, goes P5 on a 103.8 at the moment, right in the mix then, in between Fuselm and Miami, just behind as well. Miami, I think, is the impressive one, and on those mediums, there is a compound gap here, which is probably putting him, I'd say, challenging Bag of Bones to that first spot, but still, Larkin, well in front of the moment, on an outlap yet again, the Racing Point flying out there. He's really making a statement here in these races he's doing for himself then. Up at the top, we'll see if he further improves, so he's also setting up for a lap that is second in the qualifying session.
Yeah, it did show that Zamaglis, when I was riding on board with him throughout his first lap time, it was purple in the middle and the final sector, so possibly a mistake at turn 1 cost him a possible front row spot or even provisional pole position. But let's see what he can do later on in the session. There's still 12 minutes of time to build a competitive lap time down for all these drivers. Right now, 12th through 19th, yet to set a lap time. A few drivers are on laps as Larkin comes through turn 1. Let's see if he improves in the first sector, and then we can get on board with another driver. I think that's Jinnit coming to the line right now on the medium compound tires. He's going to be starting a lap, but Larkin up by half a tenth. Let's see if he can improve on that. It's purple in the first sector, no doubt, for the Racing Point driver. I think there's a Haas driver coming to the line. It's going to be Rocco just starting a lap as well. So let's get on board with the rate. I think that's JXW as well, just coming through the final sector now. Going to be starting one, just trying to get on board. I think that's going to be Dylan, the next driver to start a lap. 45 flat for the Red Bull driver. It looked purple in the middle sector, but I don't think that's going to be absolutely correct, as he is on the medium compound tire to set his first lap. Hopefully he won't invalidate through these final two corners. It is very easy to do so. We have seen it from Lando and many other drivers to make that mistake across the line, opening up that DRS. It's a 104.7. Puts himself into P7. He's currently, I think, they're going to be the second highest driver on the medium compound tires, and 8 tenths behind Excel Miami. He's currently P6 on that medium compound lap time. Yeah, did someone just improve? Yeah, that was Larkin. 102.6 for him, so he finds 2 tenths on that lap. So that's a great improvement there for the Racing Point driver. He's only a reserve, but making absolute statements here early on.
Yeah, that's a storming lap time then. A phenomenal 8 tenths of a second clear. Now it's up to the rest of the field to try and chase that down. Rocco's heading through the last corner there, opening up that DRS. Is going to go down in a 12th place though. A 105.3 just by JXW then on that time at the moment, and he's sorting himself in there. We are at that phase of the session, so a lot more drivers out there on laps, and JXW was comfortably up in that middle sector, clips the curve at the inside of turn 7, now going up to the line as the Racing Point goes from P11 to P3, puts himself right in the mix and on to that second row. 103.671 as the time for JXW. Both the Racing Points going very strongly so far qualifying at the moment. Still a lot more potential throughout the field though. Still more lap times coming. We're near the halfway point. Then Larkin's lap times have not come under threat. We'll see if anyone can muster up. I suspect there's a lot of drivers. They can still push up towards that time, taunting him out to the line. And in his debut goes Paul at the moment. 102.5. Storming lap from Toxic MML. Going P1, 102.5. Right to the top. We'll see if anyone else can top it in this final half of qualifying, Ethan.
Yeah, most definitely. Fuselim, just in front of Toxic MML, was able to improve up into was second place at the time, but Toxic taking that provisional pole position for the time being. I know Lando is on a lap. Let's get on board with the Ferrari driver through the middle sector. 43.9. That's one of the fastest lap times we've seen through those first two sectors. Let's see what the Ferrari can do through the final 3 corners of this lap. Through turn 9 right now. JXW just coming into the pit lane. There's a Mercedes in front of Lando, touching the curb on the inside, but invalidate. No, he doesn't invalidate. I know when he does on the exit. It was a 102.9, so it only been good enough for P3, but the margins could have been absolutely there. I'm not running that wide out of the final corner. Could have cost impossible lap times. Excel Cali improving up to P4. He's been struggling in the first few races, not able to match the pace of his teammate, who's currently P8 right now in this qualifying session. His best time is on the mediums, but he's up a 10.5 in that first sector, so he can most definitely improve. Williams to the line. I think that is going to be Rub just crossing the line to start a lap. I think there's an Alfa Romeo. That's Harry Noir, who improves by 1.2 seconds and puts himself just in front of his Alfa Romeo teammates. Zamalkos across the line, finds 2 tenths and goes and puts himself on to P number 6, the third row of the grid on a 103.664, just 7 thousandths in front of JXW.
Yeah, very tight margins in that mid part of the field. The next up, Miami is heading through turn 10, just now opening up that final corner. Running up to the line now is the Mercedes driver. Where does he put himself? He puts himself P3, the third driver to get into the 102s, and 102.989 is the time for Excel Miami. And currently, well, his championship rival has not been able to get a valid lap time in just yet. He was again flying in that middle sector at 53.5, but ultimately just hasn't quite come good. Roberts right now on the track. And in the Williams, no valid lap times just yet. Attacking turn 9, missing apex just slightly, but gets in the nice early going through turn 10, up to the outside, landing it again. Opens the DRS and powers through, goes P9 with a 103.9, and just entering himself into that top 10. I think DJ Panda improved behind. He goes in a 12th place at the moment, and so the lap times continuing to improve. The session continues to unwind and evolve. Still Toxic up at the front end by a small margin in front of Larkin. Those two have been the class of the field so far. Larkin now looking setting up for a flying lap. These now the people that have set the pace of the session looking to get their last runs underway. Well, not the last runs, they've still got 7 minutes left, but we're getting towards that stage now. It's getting, the pressure is mounting. These guys need to get these lap times in very soon. There's still some drivers that haven't got on the board yet.
Yeah, DJ Panda, after setting that lap time on a 104.3, just hit it, put it into the wall on the exit of turn 3. Very, very easy to do that, especially when you're on the absolute limit. But let's get on board with the racing point of Larkin. Currently, second place in this qualifying session, just less than a tenth behind Toxic MML, who's currently on provisional pole position, just coming through the final corner to start a lap. Let's see what Larkin can do through these first 7 corners, through the first 7 corners of this circuit. Just crossing the middle sector split. Now he's purple in the middle sector, but he's down in his lap time. He'll have to find 8 hundredths of a second if he wants to beat Toxic MML to that provisional pole position. He still has more time in the session to improve. Let's see if he'll go into the pits, but he's going to commit to this one. Not using all the track limits on the exit, but let's see what he can do out of the final corner, out of turn 10, opening up the DRS across the line. Surely it's going to be, but he doesn't improve on his lap time. He lost time in the final sector, but ultimately he is not going to be improving on that one. Barton across the line. He's going to be starting another lap. I think Rocco, who's coming out of turn 3, he's going to be on a lap as well. DJ Panda coming into the pits. There's a Red Bull. I think that's going to be Dylan on the soft tires. It's going to be a first lap time on the soft compound tires. Let's see what he can do out of the final corner and across the line. It's a 103.6 for the Red Bull driver and puts himself in front of his teammate by 9 thousandths of a second and onto the 4th row of the grid. Great improvement for him. I think that's going to be the Renault of Vagabonds as well, who had a podium, I believe, in Hungary. His first podium of the season, his first podium in a while in the EU tier. He's in 6th place, looking to improve on that position right now. Toxic MML just crossed the line, and he backed off, so he's going to be going for another lap. I think that's a Haas to the line. That's going to be Rocco just going to be starting a lap there. I think that's also going to be Excel Larkin. He's going to be coming to the pits. He should have one more set of soft compound tires to maybe improve on. 4 minutes, 45 seconds left in the session. He definitely has enough time to do that.
Yeah, it should easily, of course, in the lap time here, just over a minute. Watching Lando and Larkin on Toxic ZOR, so they're both on laps. They invalidated, though, the first sector. Toxic, so still looks to be pushing on then, through turn 4. We see the potential that this man has already, making a splash early on here at ZOR EU tier. He does run a little bit wide, heading throughout turn 6, but he's still pressing on there, 43.7. And one thing to point out is that Lando, on the lap that he invalidated earlier, he's invalidated again. He was a 43.5 going through that middle sector. He's got phenomenal pace, but so far he hasn't put it together. Toxic does eventually dive to the pit lane, and Brazema behind, he also invalidated on the lap then, so he's came to blows further down the line. Then we do have a Ferrari heading through. That is Lando, but he has unfortunately validated. He's going to go again though, punching through the last corner. Who's behind it? That's Rocco coming around the last corner now, opening up that DRS, going to the lane, goes 17 to the 104.6 and putting himself just in behind the 2 Alfa Romeos of DJ Panda and Gin and Juice. And I think I saw someone else improving up the order. I think I was actually not sure who that was.
I think it was
coming across the line. Zamogla's created a P8 then on a 103.4. Very tight then. You can see he's just 200 shy of XL Cali just in front of him then. A bit quiet in the session. Everyone making that transition, it seems, to the final runs then. The pressure out of him. I think Lando, the championship leader, is out there with the Ferrari driver. Heading through turn 4 then and getting back onto that throttle pedal now. Heading next to the kick of turn 5 and then to the left-hander of turn 6 then. Running it out wide then. Skimming back in to the exit of the corner there. Middle sector is good. It's not spectacular though. We've seen quicker for them earlier on in the session. We'll see if we can continue to power on there. Tox is still maintaining, still holding on to that pole position. Will he do it though with just 3 minutes left in qualifying? Now to the final turn next to Lando through the exit, gives us everything. Now DRS in the lane, moves up, that's better. He goes P3, just half a 10 behind Larkin and P2, but he does pit Miami critically, but he's going to be out there as well looking to improve. Now the final runs, probably underway very, very shortly. Tactical pole position, can he hold on to it, make a dream start to his career here at ZOR?
Yeah, most definitely, but we also have to mention that he is also running no line for the first time in a league race, so being on provisional pole position is obviously not the most difficult circuit to learn no line, but it's no line nonetheless. We'll have to see how his race pace can translate from this qualifying session, but right now I think JXW is going to be on a lap. He should be the next driver to cross the line on a flying lap in the racing point. His teammate right now on the first row of the grid. JXW right now on the 6th row of the grid. He's 10 places behind his teammate, but he was purple in the middle middle sector. I didn't exactly see the time. He has a little bit of traffic here. As you mentioned, that would be happening early on in the session. Zenith is just in front of him on the Alfa Romeo, trying to start a lap there. JXW getting a little bit put off and misses the apex of the final corner. Let's see what the lap time would have been, though. 103.7. He doesn't improve on his lap time, so that traffic obviously hindering him ever so slightly. There's a William driver across the line. I think that's going to be Rub, but we also have to look out. Provisional pole sitter Toxic MML just starting his final flying lap. If he doesn't invalidate this one, this should be the lap to end this session for him, unless he wants to go again. If he isn't improving in this first sector, it would be interesting to see if he burned fuel. There's a Williams that was his teammate just spinning on the exit of turn 1. Let's get on board with another driver, though. We have a lot of drivers on outlaps, including Excel Miami, the championship leader. He's coming through turn 9 just now. Rob was disqualified from the session after he spun there out of turn 1. So let's get, I think, there should be another driver pretty soon onto a lap. Most of the drivers are going to be in that first sector starting laps. I think JXW has backed off of his lap, not improving on that previous lap time that we saw him on. Gin and Juice coming through turn 9 just now, but he almost invalidates on the entries there. Lando's retired in the pit, so he's going to be done with this session. 40 seconds left here in Austria. To the line, Gin and Juice doesn't improve on his lap time. He backed off of it. Backed off of it ever so slightly. I think Larkin is going to be the next driver to cross the line, but he's going to be on an outlap, so it should be one of the Red Bulls. Dylan is purple in the middle sector. Let's see what he can do. I think there's a Ferrari about to cross the line, or maybe one of the Alfa Romeos. That should be Harry Noir to start a lap. Jin as well crossing the line to start one as well, but Jillen all over the track at the final 2 corners, trying to find as much time as possible. Lucky not to invalidate. RC crossing the line. He backed off. He's going to be going another one, just crossing the line with 9 seconds left here in the session. It's going to be one of the Alfa Romeos, DJ Panda. He was up in the middle sector, and he doesn't improve in the final sector. He lost a lot of time. He was on those tires for quite a bit. Excel Miami, championship leader. Can he improve? He doesn't, or he improves by a 10th, but not on his position. His teammate, his Mercedes teammate, Excel Cali, who had I believe he had a top 5 finish last time out in Azerbaijan, crosses the line, improves 0.08 of a second, but I think he only jumped up 2 places there, so he's going to be starting 6th at the absolute best. Bagabones, he's backed off his lap. I think that's Zamagos, the next driver to cross the line, but has invalidated as well. Harry Noir should be the next driver to cross the line. He's still pushing on his final flying lap. The qualifying session has over. Let's see what he can do out of the final corner, opening up the DRS and across the line. It's a 103.4. He improves by 200 and finds himself into P10. I think that's both Alpha Towers about to cross the line. RC has backed off, so that must have been Fuselim has backed off as well, but actually at the final corner he wasn't improving, and he was invalid anyways. I think most of the qualifying session should be over. Toxic MML looks to be on provisional pole position, as both of the front row sitters have backed off their laps.
Yeah, Toxic edging out that pole position there, just hundredths of a second clear of Exo Larkin, who we got to miss out, but Toxic, brilliant performance, and puts himself up the front. I think that is qualifying just about wrapped up then. So Toxic, critical pull. Larkin will join him in the 2 championship rivals behind Lando, getting the better of Miami this time. Those 4 drivers able to get themselves into the 102s then, head and shoulders above the rest, but Toxic it is on that pole position. Larkin alongside in the front row, the Lando and Miami on row 2. Fazem and Cali, they are 5th and 6th out on that 3rd row. Then it's Barton, Vagabonds, Samokos and Harry Lark rounding out that top 10. Outside the top 10 with 3 choice of tires for the Australian Grand Prix are going to be Dylan, JXW, Jennett to win it, RC7, DJ Panda, Jennett Juice, Rocco, Ashes Falcor, Purpolo, Squirrel and Rube, who we saw unfortunately getting that disqualification for blocking the pit lane. He will have to work his way through from the rear of the field, but as Toxic pulled in, 700's clear of Larkin then, with the top 4 so tight then, I'm sure we have a great race in front of us. Toxic on that pole though, we'll see if he hangs on to it come the 36 lap race that we have ahead of us.
Yeah, most definitely. The drivers in the top 10 only separated by almost 9/10 of a second, which is insanely close, as well as drivers at the top, who we mentioned were going to be quick. The top 4 were separated by, I think, less than 2/10 as we just caught the screen switching over to the race. Once we get loaded into that race, it'll be absolutely crucial to see what tires these drivers are going to be going onto. It looks like to be a dry race for the time being. We obviously would have expected a dry race from the lap times we were seeing from most of these drivers. But let's see what the strategy is going to play out, because the medium to soft strategy can work an absolute treat if you are able to get through the traffic. But let's see what the drivers at the front are going to do. Is it going to be soft hard or soft medium for those guys?
Well, soft-medium strategy is possible, but I have seen drivers getting punctures at the end of races. It's a very, very risky strategy to run with. We'll see what these guys are going to go for. As for the way races can evolve around this circuit, then, overtaking isn't the most difficult, I would say, around here, because the DRS is so powerful, but if you're running in a DRS train, that's where things can get a little tricky to move through. The car in front of you will not be losing out from being in front. So now, everyone loading into it, getting settled in. We'll see how many people are going for that alternate strategy, that medium to soft, which I know can be so deadly if you're starting outside the top 10 then. They set a formation lap 10 turns before we get away from the race. And outside the top 10 in terms of tyre choices, well, it's almost a 50-50 split then. We've got the front four on those mediums. Dylan, JXW, Zenith and RC7. Everyone behind it opting for those softs. They're going to try and get track position early. And I think those four drivers on mediums are going to be ones to watch. If they can hold those positions in the early laps, they're in a really strong position and a really strong platform to build off come the following laps in the race.
Yeah, most definitely. We have to mention that JXW and Jenner are perfecters of the alternate strategy. In Tier 1 in USA, he was able to get onto the intermediates at the perfect time and was able to get a podium from absolutely nothing in that race. And he's pulled off he's made some questionable decisions, I believe, in EU Hungary. He pit a little bit too late for the soft compound tires, but was still able to get up into the mid-top 10. So he has the pace to pull off the alternate strategy, as well as Jinnit. This is a common thing for Jinnit to do, especially in the EU, or just in both tiers here at Zenith Online Racing. He normally qualifies on the mediums just outside of the top 10. It's very easy to make, well, not very easy, but you can make your way through the field. There's only 4 medium runners, so they're going to be outnumbered by the guys on fresh softs behind them. Gin and Juice, Rocco, Ashes, Purple Squirrel, Rub, DJ Panda, all those guys are going to be on the soft compound tires looking to make up those positions early, but Toxic MML, let's see what he can do. He has a ton of pressure from Excel Larkin, Excel Lando, Excel Miami, as well as Excel Cali. Could possibly make a good start, but we also have to look out for the Renaults. They've been very, very quick recently.
Yeah, we're going to see them in action then. Setting out that fourth throw, they can maybe coordinate their efforts and try and push forward, but Toxic now, getting them to the grid to start. So critical round here. Cars can bunch up in a turn 1 then. It's so tight and so narrow, so keep an eye out for maybe drivers looking out for each other. They got to try and keep it clean down there, but Toxic lines up to the grid. Larkin's going to be alongside him. The front of the grid will settle, the rear of the grid will follow, and we can get the Austrian Grand Prix underway. Toxic leads the way. He'll be desperate to hold it in turn 1. Larkin's going to give it all he's got, though. Who's going to be leading that way heading into that first corner?
Yeah, we have to look out for how Toxic is going to adjust to that race pace. No line in qualifying is one thing, but keeping a consistent race pace is another. We're going to get those 5 red lights on here in just a moment. We can get these all 36 laps underway here at the Red Bull Ring. Just waiting for the 5 lights to come on. Here they are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Lights out, and away we go. Just waiting to see what the drivers can do on the start. It looks like Lando's had a pretty good start, but Larkin's going to be jumping. Toxic MML into turn 1. The Williams driver will slot in behind the Racing Point, but now the run up to turn 3. Let's see what the pole sitter previously can do. Up towards the 3rd corner of the Red Bull Ring, looking to the inside of the Racing Point. Just on board with Lando here. He's going to be sending it up the inside. Almost able to get that move done, but Larkin trying to keep it around the outside. Let's see who has the better run. Down towards turn number 4. The Williams driver will be on the inside. The Racing Point could possibly have the better momentum around the outside of turn 4, but Toxic is going to be into turn number 4 and ahead, but the Racing Point of Larkin trying to get the switchback. He's going to be the outside here for turn number 6, but I think Toxic has just barely gotten this one done. Yes, he will squeeze Larkin out and will keep that lead after losing it into turn 1. So Toxic leads from Larkin, Lando, Miami, and Cali, who's jumped Fuselim off the start. Let's see what he can do to possibly charge it and challenge his teammate as well as the rest of the Excel drivers off in front of him, but lap number 1, Toxic leads us away from Larkin and Lando.
Yeah, that was an incredible battle between those front two. Then locked together through the first half of the lap. but Toxic able to get that race lead back and maintain in front of the charging Exo Larkin, and behind him then over to the second lap. DRS will not be active just yet. We wait until the next lap before that all kicks up, but Toxic looks comfortable up at the front then, and Lando sitting behind will be happy to have the beating of Miami for the time being, but of course it can all change further down the line and heading into the air. But for the second time we'll see further down the road there's Mogul trying to get alongside. Bag of Bones doesn't quite work out though. The Renault will hold on in front of the Red Bull, who still looks to chase him down and further down the road as well. You do have the other Red Bull trying to get through, but up the road as well. I think Larkin's going for the race leader again, trying to sweep ready out in a turn 5 into a turn 6, but Toxic again will see him off. Will hold on and keep hold of the race lead. Those guys though look to be going in a furious combat already. Toxic leads Larkin and Lando, and Miami struggling to keep pace. Both him and his Mercedes teammate are being detached slightly. They got to stay that DRS range. The top three look stunningly quick. Toxic leads the way as Yellow's back in the field. Rob going round in his turn 8, spearing off to the side, and the Williams is going to really suffer now, going off early. That's going to be mentally difficult for him to recover from. He's well isolated at the back of the field. Get it to win it. GG Panther have also gone off. It's been a nightmare race for that trio early on.
Yeah. Oh, Lando's out of the race. Lando's retired at turn 1. He's out of the race. This is the second time that he's done this in ZOR Tier 1 Hungary. He just binned it all on his own. And it seems that turn 1 here, he's either been tapped around by Excel Miami. I don't think he would have been close enough for that. But he's in the wall on the exit of turn 1. How is this going to change this race? What are these drivers going to do on the strategy? Because normally you would have pit around a lap 10 at the very earliest to make it to the end of the race. On those hard compound tires, it's lap 3. I'm sure these drivers would have to stay out. You're more of a specialist on the strategy for these drivers. I'm not exactly sure what would happen, but Toxic MML, he's going to be the driver under the most pressure here because he's going to be the one to make the decision whether to stay out or pull into the pit lane.
Yeah, we're going to see that, but of course the hard tires, it's going to be difficult to get those to the end of the race from here, and so it's going to be an interesting dilemma. Toxic looks towards the pit lane, he's fading, but I think he's trying to pull off the drivers behind then. Larkin not falling for it, and behind, let's keep an eye out on these soft runners if anyone is willing to dive in. It looks like there's the overwhelming majority, in fact the entirety, are going to be sticking out. Actually, Zabolis makes a late last gasp effort to dive into the pit lane then. Is he going to go rescue then on that strategy? We'll regroup at the rear of the field. We'll see if he can try to do anything with it. Further back in the order, looks like pretty much everyone is going to stay out there, but Zabolis diving in and medium tires going on. That means he's surely going to make a pit stop again, and that's fascinating to me then. He's given up a lot of track position going for mediums, but those tires, I can assure you, will not get to the checkered flag. So the Red Bull going in, opting for another pit stop. How much of a difference can these medium tires make? I think he's given up too much track position. We'll see what he can do, but that's a bizarre strategy. Can it somehow work in the Red Bull man's favour?
Yeah, Zamagas could probably get up through the field. He's normally up towards the top or the midfield, so I'm sure he can make his way through the early position or the first few positions early on without DRS. But if he can't make up enough positions early on, but then once the DRS gets enabled, he's gonna have almost no chance to make it through the field. Obviously, he's gonna have fresh tires, but they're gonna be fresh mediums compared to three lap older soft compound tires in front of him. I don't know if he can make that. I don't know if he can make up those positions early on enough to challenge maybe the race leaders and go on to softs at the end. I'm sure Toxic knows what he's doing, as well as Larkin, Miami, Cal. These guys are all experts on what they need to do here. I wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to be able to, well, I was going to mention this earlier on before the race started, but if they can pull out enough of a gap, the soft medium strat could work an absolute treat.
Yeah, getting that gap, getting in that DRS straight, it can work in their favour, but if the medium runners are able to stay in that DRS range, they are certainly favoured throughout the remainder of the race, since they have that soft tire to work with on the final stint. But now the field is going to converge. DJ Panda's a little way off the back, so I suspect, well, we may get back to race going this lap. I guess we will see. But Toxic will lead it out. Of course, the safety car, the race director control, or the race control is going to say the safety car is coming in. That's going to be, I imagine, between turn 6 and 7 when we will look to get things back underway then over the second sector line. And so that's when you're going to see everyone backing up there. Toxic will control it. He'll have options then in that third sector as to when he's going to go, if he wants to go early or late. Maybe going out of turn 9 somewhere where he can catch out, because the advantage that Larkin has is not even without DRS. It's the immense slipstream you get for the first half of the lap here. It can be easy to set up an overtaking maneuver. Anyway, we already saw him really threatening Toxic early those first 2 laps before we even had DRS. So he's going to be looking to get through. Toxic is adamant that he makes sure to get that jump. I think we will get back to racing on this lap, so we'll see how it goes then. Toxic's going to control the restart. When will he go? How will he play it? Can Larkin go with him? How will it fare between our front runners then? Toxic is going to have to be alert. Larkin's going to go with him. It's when we're going to wait for DG Panda to get onto the back of him. Safety car on this lap. Toxic backs it up immediately. He's going to slow it down. When will the Williams go and try and shoot away at the front of the field?
Yeah, most definitely. Oh, Miami's picked up a 5-second penalty as well as Larkin. Both of them have 5-second penalties now, and they're going to have to serve them, so there's no chance that they can get those removed. They have not made a pit stop in this one. Zamagos and Jinna have touched back towards the end of the field as well. On the safety car restart, Toxic has yet to go. He's still weaving out in front, just coming through turn 9 and dipping down the hill. Let's see when he goes, when he decides to punch the throttle and turn on that overtake to get the best possible run. We have to remember, in LOE, Toxic and Larkin have history. So they're going to be beefing it out here for this race win on track. Toxic yet to go, doing a Valtteri Bottas-esque safety car restart. Larkin is right alongside him. You can see the field bunching up so much, but Toxic has punched it, and he's absolutely bested Larkin on the start. Miami's not had the greatest of starts. We have a little bit of chaos towards the back of the field. I think Zamagos has possibly gotten wing damage, or just gotten caught up. Barton's picked up a 3-second time penalty. I think we almost 3 wide back towards the end of the field. Through to turn 1, Rocco and DJ Panda going side by side. DJ Panda's had an amazing start. He's up from last up to 14, challenging Rocco into turn 3. Let's see what he can do in the Alfa Romeo. He's on the medium tires. He's going up the inside, but he might just have to bow out of this one. But actually, he's gotten the better run compared to Rocco. He's going to be up into 13th and should have that position solidified, depending on Rocco, on what Rocco decides to do. But up in front of them, just 2 positions in front. Harry Noir and Dylan going side by side through turn 1, or through turn 4. Harry Noir and Dylan, or I think Harry Noir is going to have that move done. He's going to be up into P9, looking to challenge the drivers in front of him, especially Jakes W, who's on those medium tires, and looking to have an amazing safety car restart here. He's the highest out of the medium runners and really right on the back of the top 7 here.
Yeah, got them all lined up and saving it at DRS range for when it's activated. That's going to be crucial. Follow down the order then. As we go Jenna to win it, Rob side by side through turn 9 and McLaren on the outside gets forced off the track by the Williams, and he went power out of the main straight. But Jenna to win it, losing it ahead. He's got his nose ahead, but Rob maybe with lower wings, face back to the inside line, and they get a turn 1 then, trying to sweep in front of the McLaren. They are still wheel to the exit. Rob gets through. The McLaren forced the back off, and then DJ Panda behind. Also looking for a way through on the overtake, but gets to the inside line, and the Alfa Romeo challenging Jenna to win it, who slips back through the order here to the inside line. DJ Panda gets alongside, they fight for the apex, fight for the exit off the track as Jenna to win it, has the yield, and in the end through goes the Alfa Romeo after fierce fighting in that midfield into the pit lane as Jenna Juice and Rocco, they came to blows, and we saw some front wings flying, debris going through the track then. At the moment, Jenna Juice and Rocco going in hard tires. I think they're going to look to try and stretch them to the end. It's not impossible around here. You can certainly do it. But Toxic still leads the way. Larkin going with the Miami, but Cali struggling to keep pace. 2 different groups forming then. The top 3 seem to be headed towards the front of the race. Cali struggling to stay with his teammate. DRS reactivated, and currently Cali not getting that benefit. The top 3 can look to pull away. Without DRS enabled, you know Larkin now is going to look to try and snatch that lead from Toxic, but that penalty is going to hold it back. Toxic leads the way comfortably. Larkin's going to fly anyway. Could they get another battle between these 2? Toxic still leads for the moment though.
Yeah, most definitely. Jinnit just into the final sector there, into the penultimate 2 corners. Jinnit trying to get onto the back of DJ Panda. It was within 2/10 the gap between those 2 drivers, but now the McLaren with DRS, with that DRS advantage on the Alfa Romeo, trying to challenge up into turn 3. What can he do? He looks to the inside, switches to the outside, braking very, very late for the McLaren driver. He's on the outside of turn 3, but the Alfa Romeo has shown previously that he can't get the traction off of that 3rd corner, that most important traction zone on the circuit. But Jinnit on the softer compounded tires will go into turn 4, but DJ Panda almost into the back of the McLaren driver there, but Jinnit will solidify that position and will be up into P12. He's only 2 positions off of points here, but looking to make a charge here on this safety car restart. DRS just enabled. Fuselem all over the road. They're getting sucked onto the curb at turn 8. He's right onto the back of Barton, but Barton, who's staying with Cali for the time being, looks to be pushing hard, but Toxic up at the front of the field has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Larkin and Miami both have 5 seconds. They'll have to strip that in the pit lane, but that is a disadvantage to Toxic right now. But Larkin with the DRS, he has full ERS. He's most definitely going to get into the race lead here, up towards turn 4 of lap number 9. Toxic just has to slide in behind. He has a 50% ERS disadvantage here, but looking for the switchback into turn 3. He's not going to be able to get that. Larkin runs a defensive line and will solidify that P1 position. Now Toxic slipping behind the Racing Point. We'll have to look out for Miami as well, who seems to be able to keep up with these guys and has a significant ERS advantage.
Yeah, we'll see Miami looking really threatening on the rear wing of Toxic and Bale. Not quite going to get through, but he's in position to really pop out that championship lead. Further down the order, we got Faye. There Ashes, Falcor going round it, and it's DG Panda who's off the track at turn 3. The Alfa Romeo tries to fade back at the McLaren, but can't draw near enough. Heading into turn 6, has to wait in behind. Just for the time being then. But you can see that top 3 continuing to move away. And Larkin looking incredibly quick, burning off that battery and trying to get in a DRS. But the DRS is going to work back towards the second place man. And ultimately Toxic will be able to keep in contact. Pit window will be opening very soon. They expect these guys to be coming in the next few laps. And DG Panda getting a penalty. We're seeing penalties racked up early then. Here in the Austrian Grand Prix, further down the road than Barton is attacking Cali, who swings over to the left to try and bring that to over the Renault. Is threatening already to the inside line and turn 3. The Hairman tries to get it stopped on the inside line then, but the Mercedes running back around the outside for Zellman and contact as well behind. So here we go now, 3 cars, 5 in the same piece of tarmac. Barton on the inside has the DRS. Cali's going to fight tooth and nail for it though. The end of turn 4 still locked together. Wheel to the exit and still heading through turn 5. Then the Renault has his nose in front, but the inside line is with the Mercedes. Cali trying to hold on to the place then, sweeping round the outside is Barton, but he cannot hold on to it. Cali, XL Cali regains 4th position, but Barton is throwing everything at him. He's already up 2 places in this race. Look at him move through. He's going to watch out for Brazil behind him, who is looking ever threatening him behind it. Vagabond is there as well then. On the soft tires, ever threatening. Cali holds on to it, but he's got a mid-stretcher behind. The Mercedes holding on to the moment, but Barton's throwing everything at him. Can't get through for the moment, but he's ever closer again with DRS again here on lap 11.
Yeah, if the two leaders of this train keep fighting, especially Fusilov, as well as Vagabonds, who's now starting to close in because of the battling. If these guys keep closing up, all the drivers in behind are going to start closing up as well. Barton not close enough to make the move, but Fusilov looking to the inside of turn 3 is tucked to the back of the Renault in front of him, and now a gap will start to create because of that. Vagabonds had to back out of that one. JXW is going to be up into P7, looking to challenge Fusilov down towards turn 4. He's going to look to the inside, and he's not going to go for it. Into turn number 4, the Racing Point will keep that position for the time being. Harry Warg as well with this battling starting to look menacing for these drivers in behind. Dylan as well was without DRS going on to lap number 11, but he's closed right up to the back of this train because these drivers being ultra competitive here on lap number 11. The leaders going through the final 2 quarters will lead us on to lap number 12, and this pit window will start to open with that safety car. The soft medium strategy looks even more enticing for the leaders. Barton all over the road on the exit of the final corner. Very difficult to do that. He's trying to keep up with the pace of Cali. Will have the DRS to bring him within contention once again, but going deep into turn 1, past the track limits there. Lucky if he did not pick up a warning, but really struggling here. He seems that soft tires are starting to go off with the relentless pressure he's been putting on Cali the last few laps.
Yeah, he's looking all over the rear wing of the Mercedes, but Cali has been every inch the equal to what the Renault driver can throw at it. Further down the order, get it to win it, move past Rupp, getting out in 11th place then. This midfield scrap is electric, everyone fighting for every inch of the road then. But still, Cali holding on to the front of the train and Barton in behind him. The man is in a really good spot at the moment though, as JXW on the mediums is hounding the back of Fazale by keeping himself right in contention. And that's straight for P4. Further down the order, more fighting then as RC7 and Ash is going in at turn 6. RC7 gets the jump though on the McLaren, moving up in a 14th position. Also on the mediums, looks fairly solid out there for the time being, as now we got pit stops for some of our racing. It's Toxic going in Miami into the back of him, heading into the pit lane. I think the Mercedes had just got away with it, or has he got damage to everything? Can you say anything about it? Of course, the 5-second stop and go penalty is going to be served then, but Miami going in, has that cost him dearly in this race? The wing cheats going on, that could massively swing it ahead of him. He looked to be gaining with Lando going out, but now slipping down the order. Has Miami cost himself a chance at seriously extending that championship lead?
I have no idea how this race is now going to pan out. Obviously, Toxic was not held up in the pit lane. He braked early enough to where Miami slammed into the back of him. He's going to be behind Purple Squirrel now, struggling on the exit on those hard compound tires that are yet to be warmed up. He should have easy pickings with Purple Squirrel here on these fresh hard tires, but he's lost so much time. He had the 5-second penalty to serve, and now he also had a front wing change, which is an extra 5 seconds to that pit lane, and also into the back of the Haas driver just in front of him now was Excel Miami, so he's really struggling here. Later on into the pit stop window for these guys. DJ Pando right under the back of Ashes, trying to challenge him into turn 7. He wasn't close enough into the final sector, but now, at turn 8, going down towards turn 9, contact between the Alfa Romeo and the McLaren. Both of them lucky to get away with their front wings and with all 4 wheels still attached to their cars. DJ Panda going wide up the exit of the final quarter, trying to get as much momentum as possible, but Barton and Callie's fighting for P2 out on track. Barton is going to be up into P2, but interestingly enough, Larkin with that 7.1 race lead for the time being as Toxic passes Ashes Falcor for P number 11 and the net. I'm guessing what would be race lead if Toxic can't keep up the pace, but right now Larkin staying out with that 5-second penalty. He has to stay on, go on to the mediums if he wants to have a chance at winning this race. I think Ashes and DJ Panda were fighting up into turn 3, but the strategy is starting to play out here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, Toxic was really held back then by Ashes Falcor and DJ Panzer. Larkin will come in, he'll have to serve that stop and go penalty, but staying out a few laps longer. I suspect he's going for the medium tires. We saw better with Divide then. Bag of Bones was brave. He went for the mediums and he's hounding for Zelda, looking to try and get away through on the AlphaTauri. Further up the road that we got fighting. JXW moving back then as Cali moves foot Barton is starting into the pit lane and hard to work further back as well. So we're seeing now more pit stops on the soft runners. I suspect it's going to be mediums going on though for these guys. Still, GG Panda and Ashes Falcor badly into the pit lane, who does go to the McLaren. At last, it's busy, and then, and look at that, almost entirely going for the medium. GXW and Kelly now fading away. GXW up another possession. The Racing Point is flying out there, driving superbly, driving astonishingly well. Moving forward as Tottenham Well has picked up RC7, moving himself up into that 7th possession for the Williams. So he continues to press forward. He'll have a good net lead in this race. Bagaboot for Zell, fading Benemex and turn 3. Through goes the Raider though. Now, moving through it, you sense now for Zell on those hard tires. Will be almost defenseless to Barney behind. The mediums look to be a really good strategy call. Not losing out too much for the undercut. And now when Larkin comes in, it's going to be intriguing. Toxic will surely have a good lead on him. But the question is, as Larkin now comes in, Toxic will have to lead, but Larkin on mediums could chase out to that 3-second gap that he needs. Despite the penalty, that's race not over. Toxic again a penalty. This race would be swinging back towards the Racing Point.
Yeah, most definitely Toxic with that no line. His first league race with it. He's really struggling with the track limits there. He's obviously had to make his way through traffic. But the 2XL guys up at the top of the field, it's Toxic a 6 flat. That's a ecstatic lap. Obviously, he had some help with Slipstream and DRS, but that's an amazing lap time. His clean air race pace seems to be absolutely electric. Excel Larkin out of the pit lane, but yeah, we have predicted it correctly. He's only 5.5 seconds behind Toxic, so he's in that penalty window, and he's on fresher tires that could possibly, most definitely make it to the end of the race for Larkin. He's one of those caliber drivers who can't take those to the end, but now Barton switching across Fusalem into turn number 3. The 2 Reynolds will be up into P8 and 9 on track for the time being. The AlphaTauri trying to come back at the Renault, but he just doesn't have the straight line speed to challenge Barton into turn number 4. So the 2 Reynolds will be up once again right next to each other on track. We've seen this so many times throughout the season. They're just super close on pace. That Renault team is fighting very closely with each other for number 1 honors there at the team based in Silverstone. JXW though on the medium tires on that alternate strategy leads the race for the time being, 1.4 seconds in front of Jinnit, who we have to remember got damaged on lap 1 and pit. Obviously the safety car helped him, but he's having amazing pace right now. He's taking these softs 14 laps and is possibly going out of the medium now towards the end.
Yeah, he's really working those tires to their absolute limit and keeping that them alive for the time being. Now we've got that group led by Bag of Bones. They're catching up to the rear wagon now for Romeo DJ Panda. You said it's going to be looking over his shoulder. We're Bag of Bones rapidly reeling him into the hairpin. He may not be near enough then. He's going to rely on a lot of DRS, and I suspect quite a bit of overtake to chase that gap down. But so far, it hasn't quite come through. The DJ Panda though, moving over to the right. It's now XL Lock and moving through an RC7, continuing that charge, and he's 4.8 by Toxic. He's really getting on track anyway. He is flying along nicely as the man and the racing point at the moment. Can he continue to chase that down? Does Toxic have an answer to this resurgence from XL Larkin behind? In the midfield, now Bag of Bones has got DJ Panda all lined up, heading into turn 9, moving to the inside line. And DJ Panda looks fearless and looks nothing to be offended. To the inside line, the Reno, and through he goes. Bag of Bones moving up, and Barton looking to pull through behind it, getting a good one in attendant, and lining up DJ Panda to the inside line. And the Alfa Romeo gets defenseless. Now, Jose will look to fall through, and Kelly's catching these guys with hard to war, get 2 behind to the row, getting themselves right into the mix here. Jose now, trying to alongside DJ Panda right up against the grass. We'll get through the turn 2. Through goes the Alfa turn. If he can stick with those 2 Renos, it may swing back in his favour towards the end, because those hard tires will not wear as quickly. But now Callie's went with it. Yellow's down the end of the lap then. I think that's Purple and Squirrel that went off then on the pit entry. Does recover it though, as now Callie gets alongside DJ Panda, going to the outside line, and in the end DJ Panda has sealed it. The Mercedes moves through. He's on the back of the train, has the service still going, and he's right back in this one. Can he make these overtakes work? 4th place is still now the question, or maybe even a podium, if he can really put these last laps together.
Yeah, most definitely. He did jump his teammate in the pit lane, so Callie could be on for a possible podium position here if he's able to close up to the back of Fuselem and make those moves stick. The Alpha Tower doing very well to stick with them, but Harry Noir on the inside of DJ Panda. DJ Panda and the Alfa Romeo really struggling on these medium tires. They're going to be 15 laps old once he crosses the line here onto lap number 19 for him. It's a 110 flat for him. He's been really struggling. His lap time is going to be a lot slower than he would have wanted it to be because he's dropping down the positions. You can just see how much he's struggling on those tires going deep into turn 1. Now Excel Miami will have the favorable run out of that first corner and up towards turn 2 and turn 3. The Mercedes driver trying to make a comeback after that mistake into the pit lane and picking up that 5-second penalty. He's going to be up into P12 on track. A few drivers obviously still have to pit, one of them being DJ Panda, who did just overtake, but now Excel Miami will be right under the back of Harry Noir. He has 2 lap older hard tires, but I'm sure he can make that work for his advantage. Up towards the higher echelons of the field. Callie, Fuselem, Barton, Bag of Bones, all very close together as Bag of Bones picks up his first time penalty on the exit of, or on the entry to turn 7 there. So he's going to be equal on penalties with Barton and Fuselem 2 positions behind as Jinnit finally decides to take the plunge into the pit lane here at the Red Bull Ring. He's going to be going on the mediums, and he has a 5-second stop-go penalty to serve, so he's going to be dropping down 5 seconds further than he would have wanted to be while making this pit stop. And he's going to have such a much bigger tire advantage. He actually goes onto the mediums that he started on. So Jinnit not going for the most favorable tire that he would have ever liked to, but he's going to be on fresher tires nonetheless. JXW is still on that alternate strategy leading, but now Barton will take the lead of the 2 Renos. Both of them go a little bit deep, but Barton seems to have the brakes. Oh, they almost into the wall there. Callie and Fuselem will be taking advantage here. Fuselem up into P6 now.
And Callie chasing it down again. Turn 4 looking to the inside line, but Fazell was gained from that then. Both the Renos slipping back. Callie to right in the mix and doesn't have a penalty to his name. He'll be feeling good about this, but Miami behind you, not rule him out of this just yet. Still not recovering, drive them, but he's going hard to walk. Chasing him down as they work their way up towards this prior pack. But now, Callie lining up Fazell. You sense that maneuver could come pretty soon then. On to lap 21 of the Austrian Grand Prix. JXW leads the way on that older strategy, but Toxic is rapidly reeling him in, and he's made such good progress on those tires, but it's going to be enough to make that difference. RC7 dives in, now for both Brazil and the train that is trailing him then, as we have yellow flags actually further down the order. I think that, I'm not sure who that was actually, the window spearing off, and the yellow flags did show going down the main straight. Now Callie lining up Brazil, who I don't think's finding this too hard, to the inside lane of Mercedes, gets alongside the Avatari, and they battle on the brakes again then, looking to the apex. Callie gets there first though, and runs his way through the exit. Fazell trying to stay alongside through the exit, but cannot. And through goes the Mercedes now. Fazell not coming back, neither got DRS, but Fazell's not going to give it up. To the inside lane, he's going to get a dive and lay on the brakes. He makes contact with the Wheel back and round goes the AlphaTauri into the wall. I think he avoided damage, but he spun it. He's going to have to reverse that onto the circuit, and that's major disaster for Brazil. You have to feel for the guy then, just coming together with Cali, who ran around the outside. The round he goes, and after such a solid race, he drops down. Dylan now went to the pit lane, hard to over the penalty, so kicked over the race. Now Cali promoted all the way through the order. He's having a sensational race there as Mercedes. He's got P3 in hand now.
Yeah, most definitely. He's made his way through the field. Obviously, a few mistakes have helped him towards that net P3 position, just passing Dylan, who's decided to come into the pit lane earlier than JXW. But we also have to mention, as JXW is passed by Toxic MML for the race lead on track, so Toxic will be into the race lead. JXW still has to make that pit stop. You can just look at the front right tire on that Racing Point, and it is not happy at all. He should be coming into the pit lane very, very soon. Toxic with a big lockup. He seems to be struggling on those tires, but now Vagabonds trying to challenge Miami. I think that's actually Miami making the move around the outside of turn 3 on the Renault. So Vagabond's starting to slip back from his Renault teammate, but Excel Miami moving even further up the field onto the back of his Mercedes teammate. He's going to be more consistent on those hard compound tires, but Cali's tires are going to be a lot better for the time being. It's all about what Miami can do in the later stages of this race. Purple Squirrel down in 18th picks up a time penalty in behind. I think that DJ Panda, Rub, and Dylan all getting very, very close. Dylan is going to have a big advantage here on those fresh soft tires. Jin is also going to have an advantage on the fresh mediums. Rub trying to challenge DJ Panda, who's still out on those medium tires, as JXW is finally into the pit lane from second place out on track. DJ Panda should be into the pits, but he's not going to. He's going to take the plunge. He's going to stay out, and he's going to be holding these guys in behind. What can Jinna do? Jinna moving to the inside of Dylan towards turn 1. Rub trying to challenge DJ Panda to the outside of turn 1. Dylan will stay in P11 for the time being, but gets caught up behind the two drivers in front. Dylan picks up a penalty. Jinna's going to be the inside, now challenging almost onto the grass, trying to make the move. Dylan's trying to find a way around the outside, but Jinna's going to be to the inside of the two drivers in front. He's sending it all the way up the inside. And now Jinna should be in front of this train, but Rub has a great exit there. He's going to be staying at P9 unless Jinna can challenge him into turn 4.
They're going to go wheel to wheel down the hill then. Going into 4, but Jenna to win it. May just clear this entire train in the Williams. Stuck on the outside line. Through goes Jenna to win it. As out way behind it goes DJ Panda. Dylan gets up and alongside and almost through into turn 6. He'll have to sweep around the outside of the upper rail. DJ Panda wants it. Back to the inside and round he goes. Just went too ambitious. Out way goes Dylan. Round and about goes DJ Panda. Both of them suffering hugely for the incident. DJ Panda, after fighting for every place as he got relegated throughout the order on those older tires, now well down the field then, and they came together, and back goes the Alfa Romeo then, sending back to the order now. Up the road, Cali still got pressure. Bart is throwing everything out of Miami. He's right with these guys as well. Miami look to fight his teammate for the podium up there, but he's going to get through Bart first. And Barton still right there, looking to hold 10 back. So now, coming out of turn 3 then, Barton, I don't think it's quite near enough, cannot quite mount that challenge. Hard to work right with these guys. JSW just a few places behind. He's not out of this either. Got much fresher tires underneath him. Can he chase down that gap? The Racing Point so agonisingly drawing closer. Can he snatch an unlikely podium? He may have 3 of them at least on penalties. Can he get up to him though? JSW can pull up a stunning combat drive if he can get up to these guys and challenge them, looking for that P3 spot.
Yeah, most definitely did mention right at the beginning of this one, even on the formation lap, that JXW is a master of that alternate strategy and looks to be perfecting it for the time being. Hopefully won't pick up any time penalties to hinder his current progress that he's made. He's up to P8 from around, I think he started in P12 in this race, but he picks up a time penalty. That's a commentator's curse. I'm so sorry, JX, but he's going to be in P8. He still have a massive tire advantage, though, on these guys if he can make his way through the field. A few drivers in front of him have penalties, though, so if he can get in front of Barton, Harry, Noir, and Vagabond, he will have those places on track. Barton trying to close up to the back of Excel Cali into turn 3, but he's in a Mercedes sandwich. He's in an Excel sandwich. Up in P4 right now, trying to fight for that podium on track, but we did mention just a little bit ago that he does have that time penalty, so that's really not going to be helping him. Vagabond's falling off the back of the 3 drivers in front of him. Harry Noir starting to challenge him. But JXW, who's closed in a second and a half on the previous lap and is closing even more through the heart of this middle sector now. Excel Miami, though, seems to be the fastest out of this train right now. He's so close to the back of the Renault in front of him. Those hard tires are working an absolute treat.
We know from qualifying that he has the pace, potentially, theoretically, over these guys, but Barton's still holding it back and still looking to try and get through an XL Cali just in front. Both these guys are running quite low at battery though. Miami's got the advantage, so he can use that to good effect. The train continues to build. JXW is now with them. He's been up and nowhere, won the last few laps, but look at Barton now, chasing down Cali, who swings over to the left, swings back over to the right, desperate to break that tunnel. Barton's still going to challenge. It's inevitable. He can't hold it back. To the inside lane, Barton goes. Can he run his way through? He squeezes Cali out, but still the Mercedes does not yield. They run side by side in the straight, neither DRS. Now Miami, trying alongside, he's going to make it 3 abreast in a turn for them. They vibe with the apex. Does Miami get there first when he runs wide though? But Barton trying to get back underneath. Has Miami got 2 of them in 1 here? He hits the inside line, heading into turn 6. The 2 Mercedes now side by side. Cali on the outside, Miami on the inside. Wow, that is sensational! XL Miami to P3. He mugged them both up then with no DRS for Cali and Barton. 3 goes to P3. That was sheer brilliance. Barton went on the attack. He loses out. Cali as well. Miami's got the pair of them. He's lose all of his battery. Still through though. What a move then. That might be moving the race. What a sensational overtake from Miami. He is back on the podium here in Austria.
Yeah, but now we have to look at JXW just at the back of this train. He's making the move. Oh, Barton has lost his front wing. He's lost his right end plate as JXW picks up another time penalty. He's going to be on 6 seconds now. He's made up 2 positions though. But what can he do? Onto the back of the guys in front of him. He's going to have the most penalties out of the drivers in front of him. Bard Toxic, but he's not going to be challenging the Williams driver who's currently in the lead of this race. But JXW right now, he has the fresher tires. He has the better tires of the drivers in front. He still has to get past Vagabonds, Cali, and Miami if he wants to make up those positions. The 2 Alpha Towers switching places. RC has just gotten in front of Fuselib for P12. But looking back towards the tires, look at JXW. His tire advantage is absolutely massive. But Miami with the move of the race there, that's definitely something that he can put towards his championship belt or championship title if he's able to win it and fight off Larkin, Toxic, even Lando if he could keep it on the track. Sorry, Lando. But yeah, Miami, that is an absolute viable thing that he could put towards that championship title.
He occupies P3, but JXW is closing fast and has Vagabonds next to get through. Can the red hold him back? But it's been like an everlasting challenge, an everlasting charge from JXW Gaming. And now he has Vagabonds all lined up further down the order. It moves up because Barton's come in to change that front wing at last. But look at this now. Up to the outside goes JXW. Gets alongside the Renault. Can Vagabonds still waiting for the inside? He breaks incredibly late. Then he's in his contact. He wipes out Cali. And Renault and Mercedes come together. Vagabond's just too late on the brakes, running straight off the track and dropping back. The Renault slipping. Cali was knocked off the track as well. Still recovers, but he's got end plate damage as well. So chaos now ensuing in this battle. There's a race on and on for the podium. Now JXW promoted. Hard work's been quiet, but he's worked his way up all the way to P5 there and chasing down the duo in front, trying to get up to them. But now Miami occupies P3. JXW though, what a drive! He has just dispatched the every driver as if they weren't even there. And now Miami with no DRS is just another man on the hit list. Horse versus softs. It's still contest. DRS open to the inside line. JXW gets up into P3. The question is now, can he get that 3-second gap that needs? Miami's not going to be up on the outside. JXW gets through though. DRS is still active for XL Miami. He moves back up to the outside and through the grass goes JXW, losing momentum. So now around the outside Miami for a clean B3. JXW on the inside line has to yield it, and XL Miami fights back to B3. He's giving it all he's got. He needs to delay JXW by as much as possible. Through goes the Mercedes, back goes the Racing Point. Miami's held back 1 chance, but how much more can he hold back with 7.5 laps to go in the Austrian Grand Prix?
I have no idea, Dan. Every time we think we can predict this race result, something absolutely massive happens. The last time, Excel Cali and Backbone's coming together, now going to be very, very close out on track. So these two are going to be, or I'm sure Cali will have some revenge driving to do against Backbones, but hopefully they can keep it clean for the rest of this one. But JXW looking to make the move on XL Miami. He's already shown his hand on the previous lap, so let's see what he can do now. On to lap number 30 for these drivers. And we have to mention, though, Toxic Toxic and Larkin still very, very close up at the front of the field, but Larkin is within that penalty window, so right now it is Larkin going to be winning 2 races in a row here for the EU tier. But now JXW will have the DRS up towards turn 3, looks to the outside of Excel Miami. The Mercedes will have no chance of being able to defend that one, but now braking very, very late into turn 3, able to get the car stop though, has a little bit of a slide though on the exit. Is he going to use his overtake to possibly challenge JXW? JXW very, very low on the ERS, but Excel Miami will slide him behind. Now JXW up onto the podium, but he has to contend with those time penalties. Barton pitting onto the softs earlier on picks up a time penalty, but now Callie will lead the train to Backbones and Jinnit. Jinnit making a pit stop onto those medium tires. He's trying to make his way through the field. Once again, he's in 8th place for the time being. He has a few penalties, but I'm sure he can make his way past Backbones and Callie if they start fighting up in front. By you know who's in a very, very good place for the time being is Harry Naward, 5th place on track. This could be absolutely crucial to kick off his season and finally get some good points on the board.
He's going to force a back to Kelly then, is slowing down at the side of the track, and there's Purple Squirrel, who's backed off then a lap down, knowing not to fight these guys down behind. But Kelly under pressure from Bagaboos. These two have history, these two will not lie down from a fight. Reno chases down Mercedes and Jenna to win it, and behind as well, and just 2 tenths shy of the Reno in front, but he's low on battery. Kelly just about maintaining that spot in front of that chases behind, and still holding firm then. But again, Bagaboos so late on the brakes, and Jenna to win it, tries to get up on alongside through the exit. Can't quite manage it though. Bagaboons with superior traction. Holds on the right exit of Miami. Fighting by JXW. Round Anderson and turn 4 to claim the inside. We've seen some overtaking masterclasses from Exxon Miami. Is it another one? Yes it is. To the inside lane he goes. He is fighting for everything for P3, but he gets in front now. JXW delayed. Are those softs beginning to lose ground now critically with the penalty to his name? Miami just needs to drive it home. P3 will be added for his championship. Can he hold up JXW? That's going to be a straight up flight to the flag now with just 5 laps to go here in Austria.
Yeah, most definitely the 2 leaders. Toxic MML starting to open up that gap to Larkin. There's only 5 laps to go, as you mentioned, but Larkin starting to drop a little bit off the pace, but not enough, I don't think, as JXW picks up his 3rd time penalty on the exit of turn 1, trying to get the best run possible on Miami. He switches to the inside and should have that move done up towards turn 3 like he did just a few laps ago. Big lockup for JXW into turn number 3 for the racing point, but Excel Miami on the outside is able to keep that position, so the Mercedes driver will stay in P3. Harry Nawar with the 2 drivers in front of him. Battling is starting to close up. RC and Fuselem battling for P10, the final points position. Fuselem will be up into P10 after that spin earlier on in the race. Jenna trying to close down to Bagabones. He's going to be staying in P8 for the time being, going a little bit deep into turn 4, but Bagabones should be able to defend that as he does have the DRS off of Cali, who seems to actually have pretty decent pace and keep the guys behind even with that wing damage. So not the worst in the world, or not the worst situation in the world for him. But let's get back on board with the battle for P3. This one's should go absolutely to the wire. Jinnit and Bagabones go side by side through the penultimate quarter. Jinnit trying to absolutely everything to get past the Renault and onto the Mercedes, because I'm sure he knows that he can put a challenge up towards Excel Cali. But now, looking to the inside of turn 1, he shouldn't have that move done. Bagabones will stay in P7.
But again, turn 1 he runs win, and Jinnit's winner gets up on the alongside now. They're going to run side by side, going down the back straight, heading into turn 3 now. Bagabones with more momentum, no more rest to his name. Will get it back in front then. Jinnit to win it, lunging back to the inside line. Bagabones gets in the space, but he cannot get alongside, and back he goes. And Jinnit to win it, gave it a good, couldn't quite get alongside. And still Cali, with no penalties, is holding these guys back superbly. He's jumping JXW at the moment, so he's putting in a stellar effort to maintain that P5 at the moment. Can he drive it on though? JXW seems to have more pace, of course. Wing damage is still holding Cali back to the more high speed corners around this Red Bull ring. We have 3 laps to go. We've not mentioned the top 2 in a while, but actually Toxic ML is pulling clear of Larkin now. The hards have held up better than the mediums, but it is too little too late. 9 seconds of penalties just cannot be overturned unless Larkin gets a penalty. He's not under much pressure here. He can just drive and leisurely run throughout the final 3 laps then. And the battle for P6 that continues to rage on. Still Cali under pressure, but he's got DRS this time to defend. Oh, Pablo Square, but Bagabones gets a sensational run, but off the road JXW as well, challenging XL Miami. Can't quite get near enough though. Heading to turn 3, Mercedes will just about survive again. And that last podium slot Still, battles rage out of the circuit. 2.5 laps to go here in Austria. Cali's holding on. His teammate Miami's holding on further up the road. And can he make it work? Toxic's pace is electric at the front. 5 seconds clear, but it's too little too late with 2 laps to go. Larkin really just has to keep it on the road, and he's got another race victory then. He's on phenomenal form at the moment here on Zenith Online Racing.
Yeah, most definitely. On to the penultimate lap for the race leaders. Going on board with the battle for P3. They're just coming through the penultimate corner for the time being. But looking on board with the battle right here, Purple Squirrel actually showing some pretty decent pace and is holding back Vagabones and Jinnit just because he's giving the DRS to Excel. Cali will have DRS once again down onto the run to turn 1. But Cali has a bad run out of the final corner, squeezing Vagabones almost off the track there. Excel Cali should have DRS, maybe down towards turn 3. But Vagabones going very, very deep into the first corner. Excel Cali should keep that one because Vagabones will have to give that position back. Jinnit was not able to take advantage of it early on down towards turn 3 using all of his ERS and his fuel light flashing for a little bit there. But the McLaren up the inside of the Renault. Vagabones should have to back out of this one. Jinnit finally on the penultimate lap will make that move. Vagabones having not the greatest of exit off of turn 3, but now Jinnit will be up into P7 and will have that position on track. A good recovery drive from him from 13th on the grid, having a great race here. But Toxic MML up at the front of the race, using all the ERS that he can. 6 seconds of the gap, but he has one too many penalties to keep that race win in his hands. He's not going to be able to do that one. But Excel Miami almost 20 seconds off the 2 leaders, but he's doing a phenomenal job to keep JXW and Aaron O'Ward behind.
He just has to do it for one more lap, but even so, he does have that penalty to contend with. Does JXW and Cali knows dropped out of range, and the driver's in front. He will finish no higher than 6th for a valiant effort, but it's not going to be enough. Jinnit to win it though. On the attack again to the inside line. He looks, but to the inside line he doesn't go. And still Cali holds on out on track. He'll be desperate to hold on for P6 there again, going to the left to the bend to keep that slipstream at bay. And ultimately, he has enough in hand over Jinnit to win it, who cannot draw near enough. Heading into the braking zone for the hairpin on the last lap of the race. Almost round goes Jinnit to win it, and then Vagabones looking to strike back now in the slipstream. Jinnit to win it using the last of his ERS to steer in front. Toxic crosses the line. P1 Larkin though will come through behind it to cross and will do enough by 2.5 seconds. Larkin wins again. Toxic P2 in the end. Those two are classes are with Miami crossing third. We'll hold on to it, and I think there's a spinner further back in the order. I don't think anyone went off. I think that may have been a lap car, but Miami crosses third. A critical race in the championship. Gets a critical haul of points there. Harden Warg secures P4, JW P5, and I think he will hold on in front of XL Cali, who struggles home in P6 then. He crosses then 3 seconds back. Jinnit to win at P7. Vagabones 8. Dylan almost gets through. He finishes 9th then. RC7 jumps the pair of them, gets P8 then. Jose will cross 11th after that mid-race spin. Bart P12. Rube P13. Ashes Falcor will cross 14. Jinnit Juice will be 15th. And then Rocco Purple Squirrel. DJ Panda were a lap down. They see out this race. Larkin who wins it. Toxic gave it a great go. Those two were a class on the road, but in the end, it was a Racing Point coming out on top there. Ethan, what if you just know it there?
I've got on board with Larkin, and his front left has punctured just after the line. So Toxic getting very, very unlucky with that one, but Larkin playing it to absolute perfection. He was able to back off towards the end of the race and conserve those tires, but just barely enough. So showing what his racecraft can do. He will take the win on track here. But my Toxic with a great debut there. Pole position and a second place for the reserve driver, so he's going to be moving his way up the championship. Of Miami getting 15 points on Lando. The gap at the front of the championship now between the Mercedes and the Ferrari driver will be 29 points. That's a great race there for Miami. He could have had more, but a mistake early on in the pit lane and a 5-second penalty cost him his chance for the top 2.
Yeah, ultimately just didn't go the way, but Larkin though does win it. Toxic in that second place there, joining him on the podium. Miami in P3. That is your podium then for the 4th round of the season, and we'll see how the rest of it is going to unfold. But yes, that is a big championship race in that context. Miami's lead stretching. Lando, that early mistake costing him what could have been for Lando. He could well have been fighting for that race win, but ultimately it didn't come through, and he's going to need a miraculous comeback now. Miami has a strong championship lead. We'll see how he converts it, because we still have an awful long way in the season in front of us. We're still only just getting started here at ZOR.
Yeah, most definitely a possible challenger for driver of the day. Driver of the day there, Harry Ward started 10th and finished P4. He obviously JXW had arguably a better drive from 12th to 5th, but Harry Ward had to start on the soft tire, so that could be a possible factor in that driver of the day vote. And did not pick up any, or I think he only picked up one time penalty. So yeah, Harry Ward finishing P4 there. I think he's going to be my vote for driver of the day. But we can get Toxic MML, Larkin, and Excel Miami into the party here. We could do that very, very quickly and get these interviews underway for round number 4.
Already, I'm just going to quickly check things. I'm not sure who I need to. Well, I know who I need to add, but just going to make sure we have everyone in here. So we'll make sure to hear from all of these guys, and then we can get things started for what is going to be the interviews. Of course, it'll be very good to hear from all these guys after what was a thrilling race here in ZOR. It's been a privilege, actually, just to be able to commentate, to cover the first event of the championship season. I think Miami is already in the group, but I do think we're going to need to add Larkin and Toxic, so I'll get right to that. Ethan, but just to you, thank you very much for having me along. It's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun to join you, and I hope we maybe get more chances in the near future. But I'll get these guys in. Going to hear from our podium setters then. Great job to all these guys. I'm very excited to see what they have to say at that thrilling Australia Grand Prix.
Yeah, most definitely. Just looking towards the Discord window, putting in something I can't say in the Discord with a picture that replicates his race. So yeah, if you want to see that, go look and see our general. And if you aren't in the Discord, make sure to join and be a part of the action here that we have at ZOR. Just waiting for those drivers to get into the commentary booth and we can get those interviews underway. Can't wait to talk to especially Miami. I'm sure you'll be ecstatic after that race, after that comeback from that pit lane incident, and then also making up 15 points on his championship rival.
Yeah, and that is 15 really priceless points then to take him forward, because that gap to Lando had been slowly but surely working its way back down. That is going to be extended yet again going into the future rounds of the championship. We should get now our podium setters in. We can hear it for them after that race, and that should be everyone added to the group. Then we can hear it from all these guys. But that was a phenomenal race. Really good to start off here in this league. But now we have, I believe, just looking at Miami. I think Toxic will join just down the line, and then we can get things started. We're going to hear from all our podium setters after that phenomenal race.
Yeah, I think we should be able to get those interviews started. I know Larkin and Miami most definitely have their voices on share for this one. They have been on the podium or in the commentary booth for interviews previously. So let's start with the race winner in Larkin. So Larkin, you've been here almost every week, I do believe, if not every week. When are you going to find yourself in a full-time seat?
Probably not for a while. I mean, work starts properly again next week. That's why I didn't sign up for a full-time seat, because I know that I'll be a lot busier. And there'll be races where I don't want to race. But I don't know. Never say never. We'll see.
Yes, certainly. We'll keep an eye out, because you've certainly made a splash in these opening races that you've had in the championship. Talking about the race itself, first of all, that early battle with Toxic was a joy to watch. That first lap, you guys went at it, and it was fantastic to see. What were the emotions running like going throughout those opening laps? Because you and Toxic really went at it. Talk us through that, because the first lap especially, you guys were going side by side. You seemed glued to each other throughout that first lap of the race.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was a really good one, actually. I enjoyed it. I don't think we made contact once the whole time when we were battling. It was really good, actually. I saw at the end of the first lap that he'd used like the maximum amount of VRS you can use in a lap. So my plan from then was just to sort of keep attacking him, get him to use up as much ERS as possible, and try and force him into a mistake, or just get him low on ERS. But then the safety car ruined all of that anyway.
Yeah, so normally the next question would be for Toxic, but he is yet to be here, celebrating his, second place and pole position on his debut with no line as well. So I'm sure he'll be ecstatic after that one. But let's go on to Excel Miami. Miami, you're still leading the championship, but now instead of 14 points, it's going to be 15 points. What were you thinking after Lando, binned it into the wall, let's say, and you were able to extend your championship lead and had a good race to the end of that one?
I was thinking when Lando binned it, it's standard Lando, to be honest. I thought first 5 laps, he's going to do something. I always say it in the group chat every week. I hope he crashes because I know he is, and he binned it. So I was like, oh, easy P3. I mean, he couldn't have gone any better. But to be honest, there's carnage up at the front. Like I saw Larkin and Toxic battling, and I just thought if I just sit behind them, if I can just stay with them, because I was creating a gap from the people behind them, there might be an opportunity. I think I sent it down the inside of Toxic at one point, but I couldn't quite hold it. But apart from that, it was a pretty decent race. I was unfortunate because Toxic lost it on the third to last corner, and we both went into the pits together. That was unfortunate. Nah, it's cool. That was unfortunate, but apart from that, it was a pretty good race. I just had to get my head down and get back through the field because I had an accidental 5-second penalty going in the back of Larkin under the safety car.
Yeah, and some fighting talk coming out from you now. Obviously, your championship lead is going to be extended pretty much doubling after that race. But what are your thoughts then towards that championship? How confident are you heading throughout the remainder of the season? Having that lead extended, do you think you can hold on then, or do you maybe think that anyone else can chase you down? What are your thoughts on the championship? Do you think you can hold on to that lead?
I'm hoping I can hold on. I'm praying because if I can keep consistent and keep finishing top 4, I would say top 3, I'll take it because then I can just let the other guys do what they've got to do. If they've got a spin, you're more than welcome to. But to be honest, Toxic, Larkin, if Larkin was a full-time driver, and Lando are all very fast, definitely quicker than me. But we'll just see how the next races go. I'm hoping I can hold on to it, but I've got a good lead at the moment. Let's just hope that I can sort of keep it there, really.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that championship goes down to the final race. I believe it's going to be in Italy. So, yeah, that's going to be quite the interesting race at the finale. But, yeah, now our second place finisher is in here, Toxic MML. First race with no line and finished P2 and got pole position. So, how happy are you with that one and how happy you were with your pace? But, obviously, track limits seem to be a little bit of a struggle.
Doesn't fancy it.
Is he there? He doesn't want to talk? Nah, he's...
Sorry, mic was muted.
Oh.
Qualifying.
That's embarrassing. First interview.
Qualifying was a lot of invalidations and going off track, but I managed to get 1 lap in, so that was good, I guess. It was pole position, so you can never complain about that. And then the race happened, and I absolutely drove like I don't know what I was doing on those softs actually. Larkin was so much faster than me, and I was just trying to cling on to his DRS, and then when I went into the pits I slid into Miami's side and absolutely murdered him and his race. So I'm sorry about that. That was completely my bad. But after seeing that Larkin had that 5-second penalty, it gave me some relief because I knew he was going to go onto those mediums, which I thought were going to be rapid, but luckily for me they weren't, because I still managed to bottle it, but I was expecting him to catch up and overtake me, to be honest.
Well, of course, that didn't come through. A great debut for you. Of course, as you're still learning in No Line, what do you think your expectations are for the future? I mean, the only way is up, right? So, are you confident you could maybe even build on this second place finish? Do you think there's more to come from you in the future?
I would hope so. I think No Line will be left at Austria, to be honest. It's yeah, I struggled quite a bit, but I did enjoy it. It was a different experience, so we'll see what Brazil has to offer, but I think that line is getting turned on for now.
Yeah, I definitely struggled with that in practice for Tier 1, and then I ended up falling and turning it back on. So yeah, yeah, that was the thoughts from the drivers after that one. I'm not sure if you have any other words for that one or for after that race, Dan. If you want to say them now, we can get them. Well, not out of the way, but you can say them before we get this stream wrapped up.
Yeah, I just want to say it's been fantastic, the integration into this league. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and yeah, maybe there'll be more in the future. We'll just have to wait and see. Action was fantastic out on track from all the drivers, so yeah, keep putting on a show. It's been a great first race for me covering this tier, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season evolves as well.
Yeah. Just a side comment for myself. Please don't wait. Solo commentary is terrible. But yeah. Anyways, that was the thoughts from the drivers after round number 4 for the EU tier at Zenith Online Racing. Great race. Cannot wait for Brazil and see Lando Bennett again. That is probably best track. But yeah. Anyways, that was the race, and that's been all, folks.